Okie dokie, hi hello, how are we? Let's hop right into it right now. Going over a little bit of tape of Bo, new addition to our baseball team. A couple things that it got me thinking, not only with him, but others on the team, youth baseball, players of all ages, alright, is my approach. Okay? And what I mean by that is, where are we getting in the box at? Where are we going to align ourselves with the batter's box toward relevancy toward the dish is? Okay, um, and I'm trying to raise these guys with a high baseball IQ. So it's important that we know where the batter's box is, and where the plate location is too. The width of the plate. A lot of kids won't even know this, and it's 17 inches across. All right, and the line of the batter's box actually sits 6 inches off of the inside lip of the dish. All right, and off of this elbow where it breaks right here, this is a center point. This front line, it's 30 inches in back of that. 30 inches to the front side as well. Like I said, that's the center point, center line right there. I'm a little shy. I'm about 29 inches, so I could be right here. This side, not too often are you going to be that much further in front of the plate. Generally, we're playing big boy baseball right now, so guys are going to start throwing harder. We want to be deeper, giving us more reaction time. When we get in the box too, especially when you do your tee work, if you're hitting anything on the inside, you want to be uncomfortable when you're doing your tee work. All right, that ball needs to be on top of you. That's the importance of keeping your hands inside. A lot of people don't understand how important your hands are in baseball and hitting. And I was kind of thinking about it. The most comfortable that you can ever be in the batter's box is with good hands. If your hands are good and solid, there's really not a lot of guys that are going to make you feel stupid. You're going to get a couple here and there. But it's important to be up on the plate. All right, because as we look right here, now I understand batter's box is on top of the dish right there, but not really where his tee is. So it's probably about 8 inches off of there. And look how far he is off. All right, he's a good 18 inches off of batter's box line. If you're just hitting this ball in the middle half, which is like he has it set up right here, there's no reason why we shouldn't be farther up on the line of the batter's box right there. You're going to see here as we go on through this video that he likes to stay inside of the baseball, but he can't cover the outer half of the plate right now, not standing like this in the box. And as we advance too, pitchers aren't going to throw and be baited into this inside pitch, because an inside pitch right here is realistically like throwing the ball down the middle of the plate. If you just take a look at the length of his bat and where he is, there's going to be a fastball low and way out here is going to be a very, very difficult pitch. And that's why I have these two baseballs as indicators here. It's not just the 17 inches. All right, you're going to have umpires back there that are not good. They're going to be inconsistent, and they're going to miss away. All right, a lot of times you're going to get the best look at the inside pitch. All right, so if you know that ball's off the dish on the inner half, all right, generally you're going to lay off it. 90% of the time, umpires are going to give you that favoritism. Depending upon where they set up at, you're going to get bad calls that are away, more than likely. And when you're standing this far off of the batter's box or the plate itself, you're really you don't have a very good look at it either, and you really don't have any room to complain about anything, because you're so far away. Especially if the umpire's sitting right here. I mean, he's got a better look at it than you do, and you can't even argue with him at that point. So get yourself set up in the right location. That's just why I was setting those baseballs up, and that's why I have everything taped off as well, because my tee right here is not the actual width of an official home plate. So it's important that we know and we're executing and doing our drill work off of the proper dimensions. Okay, we don't want to be cheating ourselves, doing the right thing and then cheating ourselves, because trust me, this is a game of inches. It really is, and you're going to hear that it's not cliche because it's what the game is. Okay, so there's a couple things that I see off the bat that we need to address, and obviously we've had what we talked about was, you know, this front side and what was going on with that. And as you can see right here, this is just a really good look. I hope you can see it well. But you have it, your bat hadn't even entered the zone yet, and your hips are fully exposed. You're not utilizing your power at all, at all. From this position right here. This is almost a contact point, or after contact is when we want to see those hips open up and really see everything transfer. When we open our hips up, then we'll see the balance and the transfer of the weight going through. Just like when we throw the baseball, we want to keep that front side closed, basically as long as possible, to throw high velocity and on a line. And the same thing applies here. If we start to pull off and bail out early with our front half, the foot's connected to the knee, which is connected to the hip. The hip's connected to, to the torso, rib cage area. If it all starts to come out, just your foot, everything's attached on that side, basically. So everything's going to fly out. It's really, really important that you stay down on this line. Now, we made that adjustment to opening up the toe to 45 degrees. Excellent there. But not only are you far off the plate now, when you set yourself up, you have another 12 inches to grow just to cover now. Because, like I talked to you about, we're throwing that front side away. So literally, if we're taking it away from this side, it's just simple math that we're going to have to do something to adjust for that. We're going to have to throw our hands or do something that's unorthodox to our natural swing. So this front side, we got to get a stride line. We got to get a stride line, and I think it's just pretty safe to say I'm not a very big guy, and I'm going to be, when my foot's at the very back of the batter's box at regulation, I'm basically on the elbow, a little bit wider than shoulder width, but this is kind of where I normally stand at. Just generally get as deep in the box as possible. They can only call a strike or know where it is when it actually crosses the plate. We're just not in the age to where we're going to see these big rainbows all the time anymore now. So balls are going to be coming in on line, and it pushes the catcher back too. It's like I said, it's a game of inches. So when you get back farther in the box, your bat is going to be farther back when it actually approaches and enters the zone. Therefore, that catcher can't snug up on you and get that extra half step or whatever with a throw to second or anything, snap throw to first, or just a ball in the dirt, So pushing him back too also helps. It's going to get you calls too, because the ball's going to look lower because he's deeper. So the front side staying on the ball. I think that it's safe to say if we're 6 inches off, I think he should be standing about 9 inches. I think 9 inches, maybe 10 inches off of the actual plate itself is a pretty safe distance to say. Just because you're just not going to be able to drive this ball in the outer half if you're that far away from the ball. Just don't have go-go gadget arms, all right? So that's the importance of having doing this tee work early and getting your hands right. And remember, I talked about if this batter's box is an invisible line and it comes up, that our hands stay inside of the batter's box, right? Inside of that invisible wall. If we do that, then we will have the opportunity to get to that inside fastball because we have quick, explosive hands and we can get them right through, right to that contact point right here. That outside pitch is the one that you can kind of wait a little bit and just wait, and then you can kind of drive down and get your arms fully extended and drive that ball to the opposite field. But that's advanced hitting. We can't do any of that stuff if the right side or left side is flying out and not staying on a straight plane. Okay, so we got to straighten that out. So you should have a line here for the batter's box and another one 3 inches off of it. They should run parallel to one another and just have him at the back of the box right there. And that should be where he's striding from start point to finish point. Is he staying on that line? And you could even, at his finish point, you could even have another piece of tape that's kind of 45'd to make sure that his foot is following that right approach to open up the hips, like we said. It's not here. We don't get here and do all this stuff and take everything away just to open up our hips. We get here, 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 and then we stride, and then, as you can see, watch my hips now. Now they open up, okay? Not that early. Talk too long, you get Chromecast, okay? Boom. And so I think, Mike, the biggest thing that we're trying to address right now is timing and adjusting to a higher velocity coming in. Yeah, I probably have a little bit more on mine and I stand a little bit closer, but if they can hit that, and I know they're capable of, I know that they'll be able to hit anything. So that's kind of what I set them up for. Yeah, it's going to be fast, but it's better that way. If your hands are right, you can adjust to all the slow stuff after the fact. Trust me. I think the biggest, and it's probably going to be one of the harder things for you to fix right now, but we have to address it. The reason that your timing's off and you're having a lot of trouble pulling the baseball right now is because not only the bat wrap, but when you start to get into your swing, you start to go backwards. All right. So I think it's very difficult for a young guy to do and not have those true, genuine timing mechanics. Like they're just once in a million guys, and the timing's just right for them to go back and then forward. It's for a lot of guys, it's just too much movement. You need to simplify it. You need to stand closer together. You're too wide at the beginning. A guy's going to widen you out if you're having trouble with your balance. I don't know. I hate it. I hate the philosophy of a wide start. I'm not saying you can't be successful, but I've done a lot of research on this, and a wider base and even a wider finish 95% of the time translates to less power. If you're up more in an athletic position, the benefits are much more massive. So come off of the elbow, and then let's stand up a little bit. All right. So instead of right here, all right. Can we please just take whatever you're doing right here right there at that point? That foot comes back to where I think Bo would probably say that he feels balanced at. And the reason that this is difficult too is how high does that foot come off the ground? Does he do it the exact same every single time? Does that foot come off the ground the exact same every single time? And that foot coming off the ground like that and then back, it's the reason that it's more difficult to hold a straight line. It's a lot easier to come down a straight line if all I do is pick my foot up and stride forward. If I have to do this and then this, I have to come forward. And what's going to happen is, unless the timing really gets ironed out, it's going to be a nightmare when the off-speed stuff comes. Because what's going to happen is you're going to generate so much going backwards, and then it's going to have to come forward. All right, and when you have that much, your hands are very difficult to hold back, and you're going to get on your front foot. All right, and then they're going to break you off with slow stuff, and it's going to be very, very difficult to hit. It's going to be very difficult to adjust to. Minimizing that, shortening up that stride to that point right there, which I think is about shoulder width apart for you. And then I think from that point, I think all you need to do is stride 3 to 5 inches. That's about it. And when you actually stride out too, you kind of got a dog leg. It's bowed. Your front leg never gets straight, never fully locks. All right. All good hitters get full extension out of that front leg. I'll rewind anybody's tape that's ever been good, and you're gonna see the same thing over and over. That front leg is fully locked out, and I mean it's the only way that you can really get into a baseball and really drive it is if you're kicking your ass off of that back leg and driving so freaking hard that the only thing stopping it is this entire leg. You've got to lock that leg down because you've got so much coming forward. All right, that's what we want. That's the violence. All right, that and I don't preach violence, nothing like that. But this is the one time to get violent. When you're attacking a baseball out in front, go get that son of a gun. Don't sit and wait and play games with it. You're there to hit the cover off the baseball. He's there to strike you out. We all know how it goes. Okay? Open, right? And then at my elbow, just so you can see it too, the hand is flying off the bat. All right? And this next one, we'll try and get a look at that front leg and kind of hopefully you can see what I'm talking about with that true extension. And that's pretty good, just getting in the box. But you know, one thing that I talked to TJ and other guys about is getting in the box. See that right there? I mean, that's just you're way too wide right there. That's just too wide. Um, that mixed in with the bat angle, that's the reason the swing is so long. If the bat angle were just to change and you keep your hands inside, we're good. The hands are actually pretty damn good. But the front side's killing you. And Quinn will tell you this too. Quinn dealt with his fair share of issues front side, and Quinn actually closed up. So Quinn started hitting like this, you know, to where I believe that it forced Quinn to really tuck this side in and just overconscious about it. And he just gets right up on the plate. He don't give a shit, you know, and he waits for that pitch that's on the middle half or on the outer half, and he don't miss it, man. And you know, it's one thing that he tidied up. But ask Quinn. He started driving the ball and having a lot of success as a hitter when he started keeping his right side in and staying closed all the way to that contact point, and not flying open. So there you see the leg. So the reason that the leg is bent so much is because the stride's too long. and it's forcing everything is breaking down. Um, so without getting too advanced, um, let's just shorten up the stride and not have the hitch backwards. So, like I said, if Bo's this wide, let's shorten him up 6 inches. All right, and then make a mark right here, and then have him take a stride like to the end of where I'm squared off at. Where I'm squared off at is that center point line off the elbow, and check his stride. If you have a start point and an end point and a line running parallel to the batter's box, you're gonna know that he's staying square. I mean, I'll show you geometry and stuff about baseball and physics and whatnot. That it really is a game of, you would have basically a triangle is what that would look like. When your lower half is really good. So, just let's try and shorten that up. And Mike, just be checking for this. Make sure that when we go ahead and we choose to engage, that from this point to where he actually puts his foot down, that it's not coming backwards. Make sure that there's no weight coming backwards after the load. All right, make sure that there's no weight coming backwards after the load. We want the weight going forward after the load, or setting up the load, which I like to do is the stride sets the load. So my stride is, it's already done. Pretty much when the ball's right here, it is genuine timing. So it's going to be, I have the walk away from it philosophy. So I'm going to leave my hands right here. My hands are where they're at. I'm going to leave my hands right here, all right? And I have my weight on my backside. And then what I do is I just push off my backside, leave my hands there, walk away from my hands. My stride is what it is, right? There's my line. Okay. Had to check the time there. So I know that I go on, but right now it's important. One, like I said, there's a lot of things that we could do, and I think it's important for Bo just to go ahead and when he gets set up, and when I do get set up, and even I'm doing my tee work, that's about my 9 inches right there, right? That's what she said. No, I'm kidding. But that's about my relative distance to where I'm going to stand in the box in a game situation, okay? Because I know from this point right here, if he gets me a fastball inside, like there's no problem for me to take. Look, my stride was not very much. It was right here, boom, boom. It was almost pick up, and then there's a pivot, right? So if he throws this ball, a fastball inside, and I pick it up and I get it right, and I'm already loaded, right? All I have to do is I just pivot this front side. For me, it's easiest for me just get my foot down, pivot this front side, and then squash the bug, as they say, and then down through the baseball. That's middle half. But if I got something inside, I get my hands out in front early, and then I can pull that pitch, right? And that's the one we park out to right field. So can't do any of that if you don't stay on the line, parallel to what you're trying to hit. Front side flies out, everything's a train wreck. Get set up, shorten it up. If we're right here, like I said, we're right here. Getting routine, a little bounce, whatever you want to do. 1, 2. See, I'm tall. I don't have much of a stride. I do all my damage right here. I'm not as athletic right here as I am right here. I'm much more dangerous right here. Trust me. And everybody is. And it's just the gifted guys that get to do this stuff and get away with it. And like I said, they're 1 in a million, 1 in a trillion, whatever. So just make sure that you're standing the bat up and not wrapping it when you take your stride. Leave your hands there. Knuckle knockers line up. Knock, 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 knock. Don't wrap the top side over. If you wrap the top side over, it's going to be difficult to turn your hands over at contact or just after contact. Trust me, it is. If your knuckle knockers are lining up and you're holding the bat correctly, it's going to be a lot easier to get your hands in and through, rolling over correctly, through all the way through the zone, okay? Because I think that we saw a little bit of that, and I don't think Bo knows what he's doing it, because I said something to him about it, and it seems to be rolling that top hand over with his grip. If you roll the top hand over and you hold the bat differently, it's going to throw the back elbow up and it's going to change the bat angle. Trust me. It is. If I just shift my grip, my elbow can come down. See, he's gripping it. He's choking it. So that's the start right there. You start with the very, very core, and that's how he holds the bat. So get the knuckle knockers to line up. So when you take your approach, when you go to hit, the palm of your top hand should be facing the pitcher. All right? You're not going to be able, with your palm to face the pitcher, choking it like this. Look at that angle. It's hard for me to hold it like this. If I hold it like this, I'm goofy. Right? Now, like that. It's easier for me to stand the bat up. Everything's just much more relaxed in my hands. This is choking, this is not, okay? You can cheat it and go halvesy. Don't go all the way over though. Don't roll it all the way over. It's too much. Any instructor is going to say the same thing. I guarantee. So, any questions or anything like that, holler at me. You know, the whole issue with the extension of the front side. I think that's a little bit down the road. I think it may just you know, kind of work itself back naturally if we go ahead and just shorten it up and get the overall stride right. So let's start with that, and let me know if you have any other questions about anything, and try to get some work on that. And then I bet you just, you know, 500, 700 balls, you'll see an immediate change. And Bo, it may be difficult to do in the beginning because you've done it going backwards so many times. Backwards to forward, backward to forward, but just trust me on this one, and let's simplify it and try it my way, and see if your timing changes for one, and see if just your overall balance and weight transfer changes as well, and then we'll kind of go from there. All right, buddy.